Education. Who knows more about educating our kids? Parents, local communities, or politicians hundreds or thousands of miles away? Isn't it about time for a separation of school and state? Let's talk about that tonight. And on a separate note, how about national security? When are we going to take it seriously? Isn't it about time we protect our border more than Afghanistan's border? And how are we ever going to claim victory when we can't even name the enemy? The war on terrorism? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine in World War II if we called it a war on kamikazeism? If we can't even name our enemy, how are we going to win the war? All this and more, pull up a chair and let's talk about victory and freedom. Is there anything more important than education? I mean real education. And do we need government to do it? I'm with Dr. Tim Kitts, who's the CEO of Bayhaven Charter Academy. And I'll tell you the truth, that's where my little girls go. They go to Bayhaven Charter Academy, and I'm very grateful to have Dr. Tim Kitts in charge of education at the Charter Academy. Let's talk a little bit about what they are. Are they private schools? Are they public schools? And if they're public schools, what's the difference? What makes them so successful? Dr. Tim Kitts, thanks so much for
Hey,
being
Burnie.
with us.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's good to know you, and I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
What would you say? I'm so concerned about education, and why shouldn't I be? 1 out of every 4 kids in America do not graduate high school, and that is a 75% success rate. If you don't even count the fact that the kids who do graduate high school, they don't get the basics of civics, economics, or history, but they do at Bayhaven Charter Academy, where you're the CEO. Tell us quickly, what is the difference between a charter academy and a public school? Because charter academies are public schools, aren't they?
They are 100% public schools. We have over 600 charter schools in the state of Florida, one of the 3 largest charter school states in the United States of America. Charter schools are growing rapidly all across our nation, and the performance by charter schools right now, they are outperforming traditional public schools by a rapid rate.
It seems to me that the reason behind that might be the entrepreneurial model versus the bureaucratic model. Normal public schools are under the thumbs of school boards. They have pots of money that can only be spent on either media centers, which we used to call libraries,
right,
or capital improvement. But they can't be used where they need to be used all the time. Under a charter school, you're the CEO. But you can't do anything you want to do. You have a board of directors. It's more of an entrepreneurial model, isn't it?
It is very much so. But one of the things that we have to look at for the public schools, traditional public schools, they have categoricals for spending. They also have some more constraints than charter schools have. Charter schools have more flexibility to select curriculum, to be able to use the money in the area they want to focus on for education, although they get less money than traditional public schools. For instance, we operate at about 82 cents on the dollar compared to traditional public schools. And so we have to do it equal to or better than with those same amount of dollars.
But that's because you got all the smart kids.
No,
that's what they tell me. You got all the smart kids.
Well, I think everybody knows that the lottery exists, and it's choice-based. Parents select to go to a charter school, they sign up, and if there's space available, their children get in. And it's done by a lottery that's audited by professional auditing firms. And everybody knows if an auditing firm cheats on something like that, they can lose their license. So that's not going to happen. But one of the things we do is we focus with the public schools on the fact that local control is a critical element to the success of public education. Not government control, not that austere separate control that comes from thousands of miles away, where people that drove by a school once thought they knew how to run it.
Well, I look at this. You guys are accountable to the teachers. You've got an entrepreneurial model. And the students, I mean, you get a chance to focus. You're still under the constraints of state testing, which is an issue. And I want to talk about these issues and more in just one moment. Back with Dr. Tim Kitts. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie. At Gears, we're proud to offer you a complete transmission service starting at $49.95.
We also offer free shuttle service in our Gears limo.
Lifetime warranties?
Transmission services for $49.95.
Come let my daddy fix your car.
Hi, I'm Daryl Day.
And I'm Burnie Thompson.
You know, we both proudly served our nation in uniform.
And we still serve today on the radio, expanding freedom and protecting the family budget.
And using the airwaves to educate, enlighten, and entertain, and sometimes irritate.
So join us every day and link arms, and let's do our part to restore this republic.
Join me each morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m.
And join me from 11 to 2 on Talk Radio 101.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie.
Is your check engine light on?
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Don't pay for a diagnostics.
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Transmission services for $49.95.
Free shuttle service in our Gears limo.
Come let my daddy fix your car.
If you need your car worked on, take it where I get my car worked on. Gears Transmissions, whether it's your engine, your brakes, or a $49 transmission special, Gears Transmissions will take care of you. And you know you're never going to get upsold, you're never going to get swindled, and you'll get to meet my friend Jay. My good friend Jay, who, by the way, if you like what we're doing here on the Whiskey Rebellion, this is part of Gears Productions. Gears Transmissions you can find online at gearstransmissions.com or in Panama City near the mall, just about a mile up 231 toward Interstate 10. On your left, it's right by the Dollar General. Talking about just about the most important thing there is, and that's education. My daughters are in 4th and 5th grade, and I know how important it is. They're studying, I always get a kick out of it too, when they study social studies. Now here's the truth. I don't know what the 5th graders are talking about. If you talk about who's smarter than a 5th grader, not this guy. Not long ago, my daughter asked me, "Daddy, can you help me with the math?" I took a good look at it, and I said, "Baby, when did they start putting letters in math? I can help you with English. I can help you with social studies. I can help you with journalism. But Dr. Kitts, I cannot help them with math." When did they start putting letters in math? Just today on the way to school.
Algebra, right.
Sarah asks me, "Daddy, was it just as," she made AB honor roll, and she's
Right.
mad that she didn't make A honor roll. She says, "Daddy, was it as hard for you in 5th grade?" I said, "Baby, I didn't get as good a grades as you got." But I want to talk a little bit about performance. The Bay Haven Charter Academy performed very, very well throughout the state, didn't they? Tell us a little bit about that.
Finished in the top 10% of all traditional public and charter public schools in the state. And we've been doing that every year for about 13 years.
Now, you look, sometimes there's two ways to grow. Here's what I've learned about life. There's two ways to grow. You can either get better yourself, or you can chop the legs out of those around you. And what I've noticed all too often, and I'm not saying it happens here, Dr. Kitts, but either the school board can emulate what works, or they can say it's not fair. Across the state, I tend to think school boards look at charter schools that perform well and say, that's not fair. Why don't they emulate what works more, and what does work?
Well, let me say this first of all. There's a change happening. There's a change in the tone around the state. Currently, Representative Atkins and Superintendent Robert Runcie out of Broward County have put together a coalition of the 7 largest counties in the state of Florida, and they're working with the charter schools in order to find common ground and put forth legislation that will work for both charter schools and traditional public schools equally. So there's a common ground issue that's taking place rather than a us and them type of mentality. So there's a strong move forward in that respect. The second thing is that in Bay District schools, where we are, we see a level of cooperation going on between the charter school and the district.
Good.
Superintendent Bill Husfeld is responsible for all of the students in Bay County. He recognizes that. He understands that the 2,400 and next fall 3,000 charter school students at Bay Haven and North Bay Haven are also his responsibility. So does the school board, and they take that very seriously. They are working to improve the quality of the things that they're doing under the constraints that they have. They would love to be free of some of the controls that the state has put on them.
That's right.
And some of the constraints the federal government puts down.
And I got to tell you, Dr. Kitts, I know Bill Husfeld, and if he were free to operate more as you're free to operate as a charter school, rather than having this pot of money spent here, this pot of money spent here, basically being under the thumb of Tallahassee and Washington. I think Bill Husfeldt would be able to make better decisions. But I got to tell you, it would be awful nice to be Bill Husfeldt and not have to worry about a lot of the students who are doing very well with the charter school. He only has to worry about the schools under the thumb of the school board.
Well, he has to worry about them. He is concerned about how we do also. We have to do reports consistently to the school district, and we're checked to make sure we're making the proper advances academically, and we have to make sure that we are fiscally responsible in how we conduct our business. But one of the things that he looks at, and we agree on, is the level of testing that takes place. There is a dramatic level of intrusion into the instruction and learning in the classroom because of the amount of standardized testing taking place in the state of Florida and around the country. It's uncalled for, it's unnecessary, it's intrusive to what the teachers want to accomplish, and it's micromanaging education. It's out of control.
I have two questions for you, and you can email your answers, but here are the questions first. The email, if you go to BurnieThompson.com, B-U-R-N-I-E, BurnieThompson.com. Number one, do you favor charter schools over public schools? Should we have more charter schools under an entrepreneurial model, or should we not? I know a lot of people are not happy with charter schools. Question number two, when it comes to education, is there too much state standardized testing? Here's my question. Are teachers forced to teach to the test or not? I have been told by politicians that they are not. I'm not sure I believe that. Email me your answer, and I'll read your answers on the next program. You can email me at BurnieThompson.com. Dr. Kitts, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Are kids in our schools getting enough education on civics, economics, and history? And if not, why not?
At this time, no, they're not. But they have improved the standards for those areas. And we're going to ramp up basically what we're going to have the students working on in order to get a better quality education in those areas. But it's something that's been put on the back burner because there was a focus on reading, mathematics, and science, and your social studies was put pretty much on the back burner for quite a while. But that was recognized. They're trying to bring it to the front burner, and we're trying to have better standards.
Real quick question. We have only about a minute left. The state government, are they helping you? Or are they hurting you? How can they help you more?
I think that if they allow more local control, if they would allow the districts to conduct the testing and provide the results of the testing, rather than having it run by the institutional bureaucracy of the state, you trust teachers to teach. Why can't we trust teachers to test? That, I think, is a fundamental difference in the opinion that the state legislatures have as opposed to what local educational agencies have. Let's trust our local education agencies to do the job that they have been given the responsibility to put forth, and that is educating children. Let's evaluate them, and then let's have that be the model.
Thank you, Dr. Kitts. Appreciate it very much. Think about this. Who knows more about what the kids need, local teachers or politicians hundreds or thousands of miles away? When we get back, I want to switch topics, national security. Shouldn't we be more concerned about our borders than we are Afghanistan's?
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie. We would like to invite you to Gears for a complete transmission service for only $49.95.
If your car needs belts, brakes, tune-ups, and more, we're the place to come to. We have lifetime warranties on our exclusive Gears transmissions.
Come see us.
Hi, I'm Daryl Day.
And I'm Burnie Thompson.
You know, we both proudly served our nation in uniform.
And we still serve today on the radio, expanding freedom and protecting the family budget.
And using the airwaves to educate, enlighten, and entertain, and sometimes irritate.
So join us every day and link arms, and let's do our part to restore this republic.
Join me each morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m.
And join me from 11 to 2 on Talk Radio 101.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie.
Is your check engine light on?
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Don't pay for a diagnostics.
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Transmission services for $49.95.
Free shuttle service in our Gears limo.
Come let my daddy fix your car.
Let's expand freedom and protect the family budget. You and me, right here every week. And if you like what we're doing, drop me a line at myfreedomradio.com. That's where you can email me and let me know your thoughts on the Burnie Thompson Show, a Gears production. National security. It frustrates me. We're spending, what, $700 and some billion on the Pentagon, on the military. Do we really need to be spending that much money? What is the military for? And what about national security? I have a feeling we could spend about half that much and be even stronger against real threats if we prioritized our concerns. The military, what is it for? I served as an Air Force captain. I was a public affairs officer, and my guest was a lieutenant colonel, public affairs officer. If I had been lucky enough to work for him while I was in, he'd have been my boss. Lieutenant Colonel Don Arias.
Retired. I'm doing well, my friend. How about you?
Good.
Great digs here.
Yeah.
I like the little basement that you got down here.
Well, you got the top floor.
We're here in the bunker. This is
You
great.
got the top floor, digging in with Don, 7 o'clock weekday mornings on Fox 28.
We're waking up with
Oh,
Don.
I said digging in, didn't I?
Yeah, Monday through
because I'm
Friday.
in a bunker.
Yeah, on that other channel. But you know, you're right. National
Fox
security
28.
is something that just makes me weary and weak after spending 30 years of my life, the best years of my life, and I'm watching it kind of fall apart before my very eyes. So much so that I think I need a drink. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay.
I don't mind.
You know,
Hey, my kind of place.
Because I'm a morning show, it's a new, healthier thing. This is called milk, and I think you should have some with me. It's actually
You have
very
cookies too, or what?
Well, here you go, Bernie.
you mix?
It's a whiskey rebellion. This is just
Milk?
Yeah, it's skim
I'm
milk, so
lactose
it's very
intolerant.
Are you really? But
That's why I got this.
oh, jeez, okay. All right. So listen, waking up with
This
Don
is ridiculous.
is a morning show. Why?
National security milk and
Yeah.
cookies. Don Arias, retired lieutenant colonel. This is
I know,
unbelievable. Couldn't you prep me for this?
I joke about this, but it is serious stuff.
Let's talk about national
Well,
security.
let me tell you about my most recent experience, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and you've got a good one coming up too, by the way.
Well, it just got canceled. As you know, I'm a member of a
Does anyone
9/11
have
family.
Frosted Flakes?
Milk, it's really good stuff. So I get this call the other day from the Victim Witness Liaison Office from the Office of Military Commissions from the Department of Defense. And as a lot of people may know or not know, the military commissions are trying the 5 co-conspirators down at Guantanamo Bay. The
Why are they
military
still
commissions.
breathing?
Why are
These
we still-
guys admitted to being involved in it after more than a decade, Don. And for those who don't know, Don Arias, his brother perished in one of the towers during 9/11 in the attack. Okay, he's also a former New York City firefighter. He's very tied into this, and his family is one of the victims of 9/11, and he has not been able, in my opinion, Don, correct me if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be able to get closure if those who did this still lived and breathed. Why have they not yet been convicted, charged, and executed?
Well, I got to tell you, Bernie, it's not even the criminals that have done this. It's not even the war criminals that bother me so much. It's my own government is fighting against me. I'm at cross purposes with this administration as to how to conduct this war on terror and how to prosecute these admitted mass murderers. These are enemy combatants that are in violations of the war of law.
And didn't they say we did it?
Of course they did it.
I mean, you were there.
Back in 2009, January of 2009, I was in the courtroom, and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed stood up and said, I did it. I said I did it. I did it for jihad. I do it again. Just sentence me. I say we're guilty.
And at the time, who was the president?
Barack Obama. And he was a brand new president. He had just been sworn in. So the election was over. They knew that he was coming down the pike. And it's like, hey, we can do anything because this guy has already signaled his intent to close Guantanamo Bay.
Have those responsible for 9/11, Don, even been charged?
Well, yes. However, there's a thing called the Manchester document that the British police had captured in Manchester, England, as the name implies, and there's the Al-Qaeda handbook. And in that Al-Qaeda handbook, it says to turn your enemy's systems against them. So just like they've turned our transportation system against us on 9/11, they're turning our judicial system against us now, and they've been very successful at it. These 5 co-conspirators are right out of the Al-Qaeda handbook, claiming torture, claiming abuse, claiming everything they can claim under the sun. And the sad part is now, Bernie, they're sick of being there. They're sick of being in Guantanamo Bay. They want to be free or they want to be martyred. The sad part is their defense attorneys are the problem. Most recently, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Ramzi bin al-Shibh have been having outbursts in the courtroom. Ramzi bin al-Shibh has been so bad in the courtroom that they've actually pulled him out of the courtroom. And his lawyer says, well, that's because he's been mistreated and he's lost his mind, so he's incompetent to stand trial. So this latest hearing that I was called down to witness is a competency hearing for Ramzi bin al-Shibh.
And you're going to be heading back to Gitmo, maybe?
Well, back in 2009, I was there for what? A competency hearing for Ramzi bin al-Shibh. Fast forward 5 years, I get called to attend a competency hearing for Ramzi bin al-Shibh.
5 years later.
5 years later, we're in the exact same place we were, thanks to this administration.
I don't know if we can ever be victorious if we call this the war on terrorism. Terrorism is a tactic. Could you imagine in World War II if we were attacked by the Japanese and we came out and said, look, we've got a war on kamikazeism? It's about as absurd. If we can't call it what it is, how are we going to be safe and how are we going to win?
Hi, I'm Daryl Day.
And I'm Burnie Thompson.
You know, we both proudly served our nation in uniform.
And we still serve today on the radio, expanding freedom and protecting the family budget.
And using the airwaves to educate, enlighten, and entertain, and sometimes irritate.
So join us every day and link arms, and let's do our part to restore this republic.
Join me each morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m.
And join me from 11 to 2 on Talk Radio 101.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie.
Is your check engine light on?
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Don't pay for a diagnostics.
At Gears, we will check it for free.
Transmission services for $49.95.
Free shuttle service in our Gears limo.
Come let my daddy fix your car. Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
You switched these out on me during the break.
I told you, it's good for you.
I told you I'm lactose intolerant. Will you take that? Don Arias,
It's the best
retired
drink.
lieutenant colonel,
And healthy drinker, too.
U.S. Air Force, and he stays up late nights even when he's on the Whiskey Rebellion and everything, don't
That's
you?
right.
Don? And you got your cookies?
It's a milk rebellion for me, but yeah, I do have my milk and cookies. However, on a more serious note, I got called to attend this trial, again, or hearing, this competency hearing for Ramzi bin al-Shibh, which I just found out today that it was postponed until April now. So imagine you have a loved one, a family member, who was murdered, killed by criminals, by a war criminal. Could you imagine this happening in World War II?
No.
Could you imagine?
Absolutely not.
Could you imagine Nuremberg dragging on for decades? Or The Hague, when you look at what happened over in Bosnia? I mean, those were slam dunk cases compared to what we're going through now. And it's not so much the evildoers that we have down there, the war criminals. It is the ACLU. I'm going to name some names here. ACLU, Amnesty International. They do some good work around the world, but this is not it.
Right.
And Peaceful Tomorrows, and a whole alphabet soup of other non-government organizations that have injected themselves into this process with the aid of the Justice Department, who wants to treat these war criminals like common criminals and endow them with the rights of U.S. citizens in federal court. They wanted to bring them to Manhattan to try them in federal court. What are they going to do, Mirandize people on a battlefield now?
You know, I got to tell you, it's very, very frustrating when you think about it. We are attacked by Islamic terrorists, and our response in about a decade is, I was walking with a friend of mine in Tampa at the Republican National Convention And we had so much security. There were gunships just in case the new Black Panthers swam up, I guess, and interrupted the Republican National Convention. There were snipers. There were guard dogs. There were four-man paramilitary troops. It was unbelievable, checkpoint after checkpoint. And somebody told me this is the price we have to pay for security. Let me get this right. They attacked us, and we have to pay the price? This is how it ought to work. They attack us, and they pay the price. Don, what is the price they should pay?
Well, I got to tell you, I think they should pay the price. I think Nuremberg is a very good example of military justice at work. And these are military commissions that are being conducted by the Department of Defense, and they should suffer the very same thing that the guilty parties, that the Nazis had done in World War II. These are modern-day Nazis. Make no mistake about it. So I think they need to, suffer the consequences, whatever the law allows. And that law does allow.
And when we talk about laws, I mean, we need to differentiate between a common American criminal that has
this is not civilian law,
right? That has constitutional protections versus military combatants. A conversation we're going to have to continue. Don, will you join us again after you come back? If you end up going to Gitmo.
I lose my appetite for cookies after a while, but I'll come and drink some milk with you. And
God bless you.
Know how we make out.
We will see you next Sunday. Let's expand freedom and protect the family budget. You and me, right here, every week on the Burnie Thompson Show, a Gears production.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Katie. At Gears, we're proud to offer you a complete transmission service starting at $49.95.
We also offer free shuttle service in our Gears limo.
Lifetime warranties.
Transmission services for $49.95.
Come let my daddy fix your car.
Hi, I'm Daryl Day.
And I'm Burnie Thompson.
You know, we both proudly served our nation in uniform.
And we still serve today on the radio, expanding freedom and protecting the family budget.
And using the airwaves to educate, enlighten, and entertain, and sometimes irritate.
So join us every day and link arms, and let's do our part to restore this republic.
Join me each morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m.
And join me from 11 to 2 on Talk Radio 101. If you need your car worked on, take it where I get my car worked on. Gears Transmissions, whether it's your engine, your brakes, or a $49 transmission special, Gears Transmissions will take care of you. And you know you're never going to get upsold, you're never going to get swindled, and you'll get to meet my friend Jay, my good friend Jay, who, by the way, if you like what we're doing here on the Whiskey Rebellion, this is part of Gears Productions. Gears Transmissions you can find online at gearstransmissions.com or in Panama City near the mall. Just about a mile up 231 toward Interstate 10. On your left, it's right by the Dollar General.